In this video, I want to cover how you would connect to MongoDB from a tool like Excel using ODBC. MongoDB has provided a translator, if you would, between ODBC or Java Database Connector, JDBC. Both of these are industry standards, but instead of allowing you to connect directly to the MongoDB database, you need a third piece of software, and that is the BI connector. Once that's done, you can go through and connect to it like you would any other database ODBC source, and I'll demonstrate that with Excel. The first thing you have to do is you have to go out and get the BI connector. So it's right down here. Install BI connector on Windows. I'm using a Windows machine right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I have to go to the Download Center, download it, and then you go through and install it. Now, it is a terminal application. And what I mean by that is you have to open up a command console. And then once you've gone through the installation, it'll be installed in Program Files. Let me bring this up. So it'll be installed in Program Files, MongoDB, BI connector for BI. That's got installed by running the installation program you download. And then look in the binary folder, the bin folder, and you'll find the executable that you want to run. So the one that needs to run is this Mongo SQLD. So I drag it into this console window and hit enter. It will start running. Now, a couple things I want to point out is that it's connected to our MongoDB installation. I can tell that because it's got the address of 127.0.0.1. That is my own local machine. That would be the same for your local machine. Now, my MongoDB database, let me open up Compass. Oh, MongoDB Compass, no one is not finding it. It listens on a very different port. You can't tell right here, but if you click on the connection there, you can see it's running on port 27017. And why there's a difference is because of that connector we looked at the beginning here. So what's happening is that the MongoDB database is in that 27017. That's the connection to the MongoDB database. But our connection to this piece of software, the BI connector, is different. Now, they're using a driver that was originally made to work with MySQL databases. And the MySQL database driver is set to default to port 3306. But this is listing on port 3307. So we're going to have to keep that in mind when we go to make the connection. The other thing we have to do is we have to go through and download the ODBC driver for MongoDB. If I go through and I search for ODBC, MongoDB, I'll find that there are docs MongoDB current reference. I can click on that. Brings me back here. MongoDB download. Where is that piece? That's not it. Oh, come on now. Driver. here. I just saw you not that long ago. Okay. Here's the one on GitHub. That's the one I believe I went to. Nope. I'll find it. Give me a... Okay, so it's under, you have to go down a little bit and you'll find it under Create a System DNS. When you click on this link here, and this link is right here, before creating a DNS, you should have the connector installed. The connector requires the Visual Studio C++ redistributable to be installed on your machine. That's what's driving that. That should already be installed on your machine. You should need to do that. Clicking this will take you over to GitHub. And you can then go ahead and click on your ODBC connection. Download. And install. Now, once that's done, you'll need to open up ODBC. You want the 64-bit version. There is no configuration for it yet, so we're going to hit the Add button. We're going to pull down until we find the driver that we just installed that would not normally be there. It was installed by me doing that. MongoDB. And again, it's a variation off the MySQL one. You could use that one too, and it would still work. You put in a name, MongoDB local, so I usually call it to indicate it's my local one. You want to connect to your own server, so that's 127.0.0.1. That's the loopback adapter, and it's using the MySQL kit driver, and so the default is 3306. But we know that it's not listening on 3306, it's listening on 3307, so we have to change that. And if you try to run it on 3306 and test it, it just kind of stalls out on you. Now you'll know it's working because if this drop-down works and you can see that your database you're in, you can hit the test button if you want, but that's pretty much it, done. And what we'll do now is we'll be able to connect to the database through this. So let's go back to this diagram. What we just did is we installed this piece right here, and our applications, whatever application we want to use to connect to the database, is going to go through the driver, which goes through the BI connector and then into the database. Now, in order for that to work, this software, the BI connector, has to be running in the background. So I can't close this window. I have to leave it running. But now I can do something like use Excel and make a report. So we go up to the Data tab and use the Get Data option. We're going to get data from a database, but there's none of these are the ones we want to use. So we're going to use Other Sources and ODBC. Now, the name of my file, the DNS file, the data source name, the DNS, the data source name, it's just a file on your hard drive. And, or in this case, it's a entry in the Windows registry under your user account. So it's reading that, and it was made during the part where we went ahead and made a new ODBC driver DNS name. So we can just point to it, press the OK button, and at that point, we don't have a username and password on there, so we should be able to connect. There is a built-in one called admin. It doesn't have, it's blank, but it's there. And connect. And from there, I can see the different databases here, including my student enrollments database with my enrollment table. I can load the data. Now they've got some raw data. I can then go through and create like a pivot table off of it.